Hey, what's up guys, Dusseldorf here and welcome back to another Digimon video. This past weekend I played in the Digifest in Dusseldorf. I'm gonna have to, owe you guys the name of the store organization that ran it. I'll probably put it in the description below because I can't remember right now. But yeah, it was really well ran. Just let's start with that. It was sold out, so 120 people, and I actually managed to go X1 and get 8th place playing Lordknightmon, or like yellow toolbox, I want to call it. So not a hybrid deck or anything like that. But yeah, I guess I'll just tell you about like how I came to be running this deck after I show you guys the actual deck list. So yeah, let's hop right into that. Alright, so hopping into the actual deck profile, I hope the lighting isn't that bad. I can't find the power source for my usual light source, so we're just doing with natural light basically. But yeah, we're starting with the Digimon, of course. I actually have quite a bit to say about this. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I did base this build off another YouTuber's Lordknightmon list, and he was playing... I think he was playing 4 Upamon and 1 Coralmon. So I figured, I mean, his reasoning made sense, right? You're really looking to go to the 3 memory, and then Upamon is really good. But honestly, the drawing of Upamon, it happened occasionally, of course, and like, it's not bad by any means, but I really missed the -1000 from Pikmon / Coralmon, depending on what you want to play, probably Pikmon. In quite some games, because there's just quite some Digimon that have like 5k DP, and Knightmon by himself doesn't really get rid of those, so you really need the additional 1000 to hit the to actually delete Digimon by the DP reduction, and I actually missed those, so I think I'm probably gonna be swapping these out for Pikmon, because I just really missed that. And then probably I'll keep 1 Upamon in the space of this this BBmon. This honestly just, I don't know, I think maybe it came up once or something, and of course the effect can be good, but I definitely think like the Pikmon and 1 Upamon lineup is better than this. I was really disappointed with the Digi-X. They really didn't do that much for me, and this is probably the first time ever for me since the start of this game where I felt like my Digi-X lineup was actually terrible. Like, it didn't cost me any games. Actually it did. I think like the one match I lost, maybe I could have actually won if I was playing Pikmon over the Upamon, so that's a little bit, unfortunate. But this is what this, so definitely gonna be changing that. And then going into the main deck, there's also a lot of changes I want to make about the main deck, but yeah, let's just first take a look at it. I'm playing 4 of the Pulsemon. This card just... mostly because it's also a consistency card, right? If you're you really want to dig to your Knightmon or your Lordknightmon, your combo pieces, and just playing this and drawing a card is really good. More late game, getting the memory from the bringing out by Lordknightmon is really good as well. Definitely gonna be staying on 4 of this. Just it's just the best generic level 3 for yellow. And then since this is Lordknightmon, I'm playing 4 copies of Starmons. I love this card. I did side them out, like one of them out a couple of times. I'll show you. I'll talk about that when I'm showing the side deck. But yeah, shout out to this specific Starmons. Like this came from one of the entry packs. I was like, oh man, I really want Starmons, and I pulled it. That was really funny. Yeah, not much to say about this. Just one of the goals from the deck is deleting your opponent's Digimon by DP reduction, and Starmons does a great job of doing that. When you're flying the field and this hits for like 6k or something, that's just absolutely insane. So yeah, I was happy with this. Then I played triple Bushi Agumon. I was also really happy with this ratio. As you'll see, I'm also playing Kazemon, 2 of them. And with 3 Bushi and 2 Kazemon, you're almost guaranteed to, like, if you want to go for a game quickly in a specific turn, that you have access to either Bushi to go for game suddenly or the Kazemon, and your opponent really has to watch out for those cards. We are in a form where a lot of people are just, or decks I should say, are just not playing any blocker, so you can just suddenly go for game. If you can set up against hybrid yellow, Supposedly, I also think this is really good to, you know, close out the game as fast as possible. Because you don't really want them to be generating a lot of advantage and just close out the game where you can. I was really happy with this lineup. Like, I considered playing 4 even, but I think that's just a little bit too much, especially since it does have the 5 play equals, so you, like, randomly playing it from your hand to end your turn is usually pretty bad. But yeah, so those, and then some more Pulsemon. I was playing 2 of the new Pulsemon from the BT7. This is the one that gives inheritable if you have exactly 3 security cards. When attacking once per turn, gain 2 memory, and this combines really well with the Electric Rush card. But the truth is, this just, I don't think it ever came up, maybe once. To be honest, like, people did play around it. I played against Blue Hybrid a couple times, and just, you know, they got rid of this as a source. And I do suppose it's like sort of threatens your opponent just being there. But it was just kind of inconsistent in my opinion, so I really want to try some different cards. Or different ratios at least. I'm thinking about playing Lobmon. Talk about Lobmon. The last proper rookie I was playing was this Pulsemon. You know, because this is supposed to get you to 3 memory as fast as possible to, you know, actually use cards like this or the Electric Rush. I used this guy a total of 0 times. I literally just like used it to evolve over my egg and draw a card. I think the inheritable, the jamming effect came up like once. I do love the artwork though, so I do have to say that. Shout out to Tom, who gave me one of those cards. But yeah, like basically both these Pulsemon are kind of disappointing. I suppose if you're playing like a super dedicated Electric Rush deck, these cards are good, but this deck is just not that. And going by the list that was that I based this list off, it's just kind of hard to, you know, once you get below the 3 security, it's just super hard to get back to it. Basically, you're only playing Lucamon to do that. So yeah, I just definitely want to try Lobmon just because more consistency, or maybe like some other hooks, I'm not sure yet. But this was really disappointing, probably won't be playing that again. And then the last level 3, but it's not like an actual level 3, but it is Lucamon. This card is good. You can bring it out with Lordknightmon, obviously, just to get the free recovery, which might enable you to, you know, make use of Electric Rush and this Pulsemon, which is nice. Or late game, like, it helps you to actually stay in the game. But yeah, I think 1 of the Lucamon is just the perfect number, to be honest. You don't really want to be playing more than that, because it is, of course, very bricky. You can play it from your hand, for like, and if you do it with the reduced cost, it's not that bad, but, you know, that's for the level 3s. I think it's 15 plus the Lucamon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So 16, but 15, like, you know, rookies you can evolve, basically. Then for the level 4 lineup, it's, you know, for Tsururimon and for Pidomon. I have to say, with the Mulligan rule, more consistently being able to open up, like, a rookie into one of those to put your opponent to 1 is really good. Even though against the hybrid decks, I always just, you know, if I get to choose, I make them start post game 1. Which at game 1, being able to go into those when you win the roll is pretty nice. Just playing Pidomon in this form is also really nice, because a lot of people, you know, they actually kind of struggle with blockers. It's not that much removal in most of the meta decks. Then I played the one Gladimon. I think 1 is a fine number for this. You wouldn't really want to be playing more. You could even just not play it, but I think having level 4 to play from Lordknightmon effects pretty good, even, you know, if it didn't have an effect. And then the effect can occasionally get you to Nightmon or Lordknightmon when you play it, which is nice. And then I already mentioned them. I'm playing double Kazemon, basically just to finish out the game, but evolving into it for 2 costs to maybe, you know, memory choke your opponent. Also happens occasionally, and it's pretty nice, in my opinion. I think 2 was fine. You really just want to use it to close out the game if you already have TKXs, which of course isn't always the case. So you don't really want to brick on those. But yeah, they were good. I think I won like 3 games by just going to Kazemon and just closing out the game. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the level 4s overall. Honestly, aside from like the X and level 3s, I was pretty happy with all the lineups. Including level 5 lineup, just 5 Nightmon. Not much to say about this. Bringing out a level 5 for basically free is just absolutely insane, and then the minus 4000 DP. It's good to hit cards like Bokomon, Demon, what's it called? Kumamon, Bearmon, the blue hybrid. That also just gets single-handedly deleted by this, which is nice. But yeah, like I said, just a lot of cards are also 5k in the current format, so having access to something like Pikmon or Cormon would have been nice. Then I'm playing double Angelman. Like, you could even get away playing like 4 of this and 4 of Angelman, like that'd be perfect. Because when you do get the electric verse off, and you have like Lordknightmon and this, and you bring out like 4 Digimon with 2 swings, that's of course just instantly wins you the game. And H1 was fine. The minus security effect also came up because I did play against Jesmon, so that was cool. But I was really happy with my level 5 lineup because the last level 5 I'm playing is War Growlmon. It's like Digiburst 2 then minus 4000, so you can get rid of pretty much everything level 5 and below. If you have like a War Growlmon, Digiburst into Lordknightmon into Knightmon, which is kind of nice. And this also, again, it gets rid of annoying cards like Pokemon, which prevent your opponent from generating free advantage. So yeah, very happy with this lineup. Now, coming to level 6, you know, the goal of the deck. I am playing the full playset of Lordknightmon. I did win some games, but I just didn't see Lordknightmon because mostly it doesn't really feel like a Lordknightmon deck anymore, more like a yellow toolbox, but this just happens to be the best level 6. And of course, like when you get an early start going into this, the hybrid decks tend to like take a lot of time to set up. Not necessarily like a lot of time, but you know, if you manage to get to this like on the second turn, then you can really just try to rush them down, which is really nice. And of course, this card's just crazy. You shouldn't really have to explain that much about it. Then I played double Dynasmon. This is both a consistency booster and it's actually really good defensively as well. There's not a lot of removal in main decks currently, so if you just like evolve into this, just not swing with it to risk it, it's really hard for your opponent to actually get rid of it, so they do have to like double security check you each turn to get rid of your security, at least, which is cool. This card, like, I wouldn't really say it overperformed, because the card is just really good, but it definitely was one of the win conditions for the deck. And then I'm playing the one Kazuchimon. This guy, like, sometimes it just kind of sits in your hand and does nothing, but when it does something, it's absolutely insane. I played like the craziest game against Jesmon. He got rid of all my security, but he couldn't finish me, and then I just went like Lordknightmon, clear his board, bring out Knightmon, and then I evolved into this over the Knightmon, just go back to 3 security, and that basically just single-handedly won me the game because he couldn't get back into it quick enough before I could finish him. And then the security check +1 effect is also pretty good if you manage to evolve into it for cheap. Like, yeah, this card is crazy. And then the last level 6 I'm still playing Slash Angemon. Just, you know, being able to get rid of like level 6 Digimon by going Knightmon / Angemon. Definitely very good. And it's just nice to have multiple options because, you know, you can dig for them with Dynasmon, and then, yeah. I know a lot of people are not playing this, but I definitely think it was pretty good. You could consider cutting and playing another Kazuchimon, but I was honestly super happy with my level 6 lineup. And playing 8 is nice because it, you know, you really need to see your level 6s to win, unlike the hybrid decks. Yeah, then moving on to the options, I'm playing triple Blinding Ray. 4 is just a little bit too much, especially since it doesn't have a security effect. But it is just really, really good. It definitely helps you push for game. Sometimes there was one game where I was under Ice One. I just like resolved, I don't know, 2 or 3 of this and just killed my opponent through 3 or 4 security anyway, which is absolutely insane. It helps you, like, if your opponent is memory choking you to 1, to go into Lordknightmon on the same turn and swing. If you have this, which can generate a lot of advantage. This card's just crazy, and especially in combination with Dynasmon, of course, this is just very, very good. I played 1 Electric Verse. Like, if you're playing a dedicated deck for this, you probably should be playing more, but I made some last minute tweaks and just figured like this card's also just a lot of the time kind of a brick. And of course playing bricks isn't that that good, and I'm probably just gonna cut this in its entirety. I think it's very, very win more. To be fair, like, when you get it off, this card's just like an absolute win condition, but at the same time you can't really get it off unless you're winning already. So I'm just kind of undecided about this card. And then the last 3 cards are just TK. Ever since the beginning of this game, I've been saying like the memory tamers to get you 3 are just absolutely insane. They still are. I'm probably gonna be bumping this up to 4, to be honest, just because you actually kind of always want to see it. It's also really cool in combination with Dynasmon again. Yeah, just this super nice, especially now that you're also playing the Kazamon, you know. Not much to say about that. Then moving on to the side deck, which was actually something we played with at the Digifest, which is definitely cool. Yeah, I was kind of afraid it would be kind of toxic, but honestly, both the Mulligan rule and the side deck rule, I enjoyed those. Obviously, since I'm playing Lordknightmon, a lot of people are not actually playing dedicated side deck cards against me. So that was nice as well. But yeah, let's take a look. I'm playing Triple Cutemon against most of the hybrid decks. To be honest, this card kind of underperformed, I want to say. Yeah, I played against 3 hybrid decks, I think, or 4 hybrid decks, and it put in some work. Like it did force my opponent to pop this instead of my blocker in one of the games, which was alright, but it wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. To be honest, like I just sided out like one of the not as good Pulse Mons and like a Star Mons for this, and then like your ratios are still absolutely fine. Yeah, I don't know, like the card isn't bad at all. Maybe I'll keep siding it. It wasn't as strong as I thought it would be, let's just put it like that. Then I sided double Mustemon. I only ever sided in one just because I kind of wanted to keep the toolboxiness of the level 6 lineup. I want to side this in against hybrid tame decks. And again, this card super underperformed. I drew it like 2 or 3 times and I never really wanted to go into it. I always had better options. I can imagine there's definitely situations where it could have been good. And also against like the match I lost, I had this in my hands and I could have played it. But we were in time and there were like 2 minutes left, and I really just didn't properly have the time to think out my turn. I probably should have though, and then maybe I would have won or would have drawn, but I don't know, maybe in that situation this card could have actually been good, but I decided to not go this route and that cost me the game. And then I'm playing the Wasakuyamon against Jesmon, and one of my friends, Tom, mentioned that people might play Gabubond along with the blue hybrid deck, so I figured this was pretty good against that. I sided again against Jesmon once, didn't draw it, so but yeah, this card is actually kind of good. Was happy with this being there, and then the last card actually just a 4-of, which is Wyvern's Breath. Again, against stuff like bomb decks. Again, this card kind of underperformed, so my side was actually kind of trash, but the main deck was actually surprisingly good. I wasn't even like content with it, but like it definitely did the job, you know, going X1 and ending 8th place out of 120 people. But yeah, that's the deck. Let's just talk about the event experience and my matchups and stuff. So yeah, that was the deck list. So yeah, a lot of stuff I would change about it, but it performed really, really well. Played against mostly like meta decks. I played against blue hybrid 3 times and just lost 1 game to that deck, and also like to a misplay of my own. I think I probably would have won that game as well, but I didn't block with one of my Piddomon, and then he went, after his first swing, he went into, like I still don't know all the names of the new cards, but into the one that like stuns one of your blockers, basically, and I couldn't block with that one anymore. Then he bounced the other one, I just attacked for game, and I think probably if he couldn't have swung for game that turn, I could have just easily wiped his field and probably just won the game. But yeah. 3 blue hybrid. Then I played against Cherubimon with the yellow bottom as well. I won that 2-0. I think game 1 he just had a really bad start, and then game 2 the matchup was just kind of rough for him. Like if I managed to establish my Lordknightmon early enough, it just you know, puts up too much pressure, and he just didn't see any Cherubimon. Then play against Jesmon. Shout out to Will. This match was absolutely the craziest of the day for sure. Like game 1 and game 2 were just kind of like we both sort of steamrolled each other, and then game 3 was crazy. I already talked about it a little bit. It was the match where like the Kazuchimon was absolutely insane, where I just wiped his field and then went Kazuchimon restore 3. Crazy stuff. Very, very intense game. Had to think a lot to eventually win, but yeah, it was cool. So shout out to him. And then I lost to the eventual winner of the event, Oliver Lucanda, who's a Yu-Gi-Oh player, so it's pretty cool. He was playing Lilith Mondoop. We went to time, match was really close. if I had more time, like maybe I could have won, but I didn't like want to you know, cheese him and like force a draw or anything like that. So I gave him like his last turn, and we didn't even get to my last turn because he managed to kill me in time. But I definitely think like if I took more time in my first turn of time, I might have been able to win the game. But yeah, he deserved to win, so that's perfectly fine. I shouted to my travel buddies, Matthijs and Tom. Tom also borrowed me a lot of his side cards specifically, because I didn't bring all my cards with me to the event, and luckily he had some. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This weekend I'm also going to be playing another Digifest, this time in the Netherlands, so where I live, a little bit closer. And if you have any like ideas for decks I should play, be sure to let me know. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about how I actually got this deck choice. Basically I had no time to test, and I just opened my BT7 stuff last week, I think. Had no time to test after that, just that specific day. First I built D-Brigade with like the Knightmon cards, but or the Dark Knightmon cards I should say probably, but just a super lackluster, terrible matchup against the hybrid decks. So that's why I didn't really feel good taking that to an event. And then I built this just because I was already familiar with like most of the cards, and it was just, it felt fine. Like I definitely didn't think I would be topping this event or going X1 for sure, but it felt better than D-Brigade. I just didn't have time to actually, you know, put together Yellow Hybrid and give that proper testing, because I did actually want to play that. But I'm really happy I played this and it went so well, because it's a pretty cool deck and I had a lot of fun playing it. But yeah, if you think I should play Yellow Hybrid or Blue Hybrid, maybe Green Hybrid, who knows, let me know down in the comments below, and maybe I'll play it for the event this weekend. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!